Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. Which of the following expressions has 6x negative 5b as a factor where b is a positive integer constant? Okay, here we have a linear expression, and in the given answer choices we have quadratic expression, and we have to find the quadratic expression which has 6x negative 5b as a factor. Okay, usually when we factor a quadratic expression, we'll be getting two linear factors, and one of the linear factors is over here, and once I get the other linear factor, I can multiply the two linear factors and I get the required quadratic expression. And when I go over the quadratic expressions in the given answer choices, in all the quadratic expressions, we have the same leading term, that is 24x squared, and the same constant term, that is a negative 15b. Okay, now let me take the given linear factor, that is 6x negative 5b. Now my aim is to get the other linear factor. Okay, what should I write over here so that when I multiply the 6x and the stuff over here, that is equal to the leading term 24x squared. So it's very clear I have to write 4x. When I write 4x over here and I multiply the 6x and 4x, that is equal to 24x squared. That's the leading term in all the answer choices over here. Now, what should I write over here so that when I multiply this negative 5b and the stuff over here, that is equal to the constant term that we have in all the answer choices, that is negative 15b. It's very clear I have to write a positive 3. When I multiply negative 5b and positive 3, I am getting negative 15b that we have as a constant term in all the answer choices. Okay, here I got the two linear factors. Now let's multiply to get the quadratic expression that is equivalent to this one. Okay, we can multiply these two binomials using the FOIL method. Let me multiply the first terms. 6x times 4x is 24x squared. Let's multiply 6x and positive 3. That is outer terms. I am getting 6x times 3 is a positive 18x. Now let's multiply the inner terms. Negative 5b and positive 4x. I am getting negative 20bx. And now let's multiply the last terms. Negative 5b and positive 3. Then I am getting negative 15b. Okay, let me write it over here, 24x squared. When I consider these two terms, in both the terms we find x, we can factor x out. Okay, when x is factored, we are left with 18 in the first term and negative 20b in the second term. That is 18 negative 20b times x negative 15b. Okay, here I have factored x out from these two terms. And the question says b is a positive integer constant. Okay, now let me write the possible values for b so that it is a positive integer constant. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here all the values are positive and all of them are integers. Okay, now let me consider the least value of b, that is 1. When I plug in 1 for b over here, it will become 20. That is, we have 18 and negative 20. Then it becomes a negative value. Okay, even when I consider the smallest value of b, we get a negative coefficient for x over here. In case I consider the other values of b, for example, if I consider the second value of b, 2, when I plug in 2 over here, 20 times 2 is 40, that is I'm getting 18 negative 40, again I'm getting a negative value. Okay, for all positive integer constant values for b, I am getting a negative coefficient for x. Okay, when I go over the answer choices, in two answer choices, we have negative coefficient for x. In answer choice A and in answer choice D. We can reject answer choice B and answer choice C. Okay, which one is correct, A or D? Okay, now let me take the coefficient of x in answer choice A, that is a negative 22, and let me equate to the coefficient of x what we got over here, that is 18 negative 20b. We can do the same thing for the coefficient of x in answer choice D, that is this negative 484 has to be equated to the coefficient of x over here. Okay, then I'm getting negative 484 equals to 18 negative 20b. Now we have to solve for b in both these equations, and we have to consider the one where we get the value for b as a positive integer constant. Okay, now let me solve for b in the first equation. Let me subtract 18 from both sides of the equation. Then positive 18, negative 18 will cancel out. I'm getting negative 40 on the left side. On the right side, we have negative 20b. Let me divide both sides of the equation by negative 20. Then this negative 20 will cancel out. Here negative will cancel out. When I divide 40 by 20, I am getting 2. On the right side, we have b. Okay, here I got the value of b as 2. It is a positive integer constant. Anyways, let's solve for b in this equation. Let me subtract 18 from both sides of this equation. Then this 18, negative 18 will cancel out. I am getting a negative 502 on the right side. On the left side, we have negative 20b. Let me divide both sides of this equation by negative 20. This negative 20 will cancel out. Here, negative will cancel out. Let me divide 502 by 20. I am getting 25.1. Okay, in both the equations, I am getting a positive value for b, but only in the first equation, I get an integer constant, that is positive integer constant for b. When I consider this negative 22 as a coefficient of x at the place of 18, negative 20b, I am getting a positive integer constant for b. So answer choice D is incorrect. The correct answer choice for this question is A.